Order with the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Lord, we submit ourselves to you as your servants and the servants of the people of Hampstead who place their trust in us. Please allow every word that is spoken and every action taken to be in the best interest of Hampstead, and for everyone gathered here tonight to be a stabilizing influence in these unsettled times. Dear Lord, bless this meeting and our town. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll, please.
Mayor Nevin.
Here.
Councilwoman Barrett.
Here.
Councilwoman Painter.
Here.
Councilman Thomas.
Here.
Councilman Unglesby.
Here.
Councilman Zolman.
Here.
Okay, and we'll do minute approvals for the public hearing last month and the council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Tammy, when you're ready for the town manager's report.
So this is the year for the 2023 town election, which will be held here in Town Hall on Tuesday, May 9th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for 2 members of council and a mayor. All terms are for 4 years. If you're a registered voter in Carroll County and live within the incorporated town limits, you're eligible to vote in town elections. If you are not registered to vote, you may do so online by visiting Carroll County Elections Office at elections.carrollcountymd.gov, or you can call the Elections Office at 410-386-2080 to request registration forms by mail. Voter registration must be completed by April 10th. Nomination packets for residents that would like to run for office are available at town office beginning March 1st. Candidates must be 25 years of age, a registered voter, and have reside within the incorporated limits of the town of Hampstead for at least 1 year immediately preceding the election. A candidate must file a nomination packet with the town by 4:30 on Monday, April 10th, 2023. And absentee ballots will be available after the Board of Supervisors of Elections validate the candidates. The May Council meeting will occur on Wednesday, May 10th at 7:30. So we continue to work on our commercial and residential projects. We have a public hearing that's planned for Hans concept site plan before the February 22nd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. And then we have several new businesses that have come into town or are coming into town. So Cinco de Mayo's restaurant and a new dog groomer. Domingo's Paws have opened up in the Robertsfield Shopping Center. Rocco's Market and Deli should be opening this week in the building across the street from Outlaw Barbecue. Fika Coffee Bar is planning to start serving specialty coffees and pastries within the next couple weeks at 1005 South Main Street.
And before you move on, the construction that's going on is Ridge Engineering. That is not Hans. That's an expansion of Ridge.
Yes, Ridge is, Hans has just gotten started.
Yeah, they're
with the
at least a
concept
year
plan.
from breaking ground. All the dirt being moved up on the hill behind the car wash is the Carroll County Industrial Development Authority just getting land ready for pad use should a user be identified. I've had several people reach out to me about Amazon-related fulfillment center users. We've politely declined them. We'd like to have somebody like Ridge, like Fuchs, like Stagers, like Hans, where it's, a local owned business. We're looking for jobs, not trucks.
Right.
So that's what's going on at the north end of town.
No prison.
Stop.
What?
No prison.
No.
Yeah, there's all kinds of rumors out there. That's what's really going on.
And yes, the Dollar General is being rebuilt and should be operational hopefully next month. They think by the end of March.
That's fast.
For the finance department, payroll calendar year tasks have been completed, including the distributing W-2s and 1099s. The employee leave balances have been updated together with holiday leave schedule. Since the Veterans Day holiday occurs on a Saturday this year, town offices will remain open and all employees will receive a floating holiday. Staff are working on the preparation of the FY24 budget. I can't believe it's that time again. For bids, the pre-construction meeting for the cleaning and repainting of the interior and exterior of the North Water Tower project scheduled for Wednesday, March 8th. The meeting will also include the representatives from T-Mobile and Verizon pertaining to their communications equipment located on the water tower. 3 turf mowing bids were released yesterday for the 2023 to 2025 mowing seasons. A mandatory pre-bid meeting will be held Thursday, February 23rd, and the bid opening is March 7th at 2 p.m. And then a solid waste and recyclables collection services bid will be released this week, this week or next week, because that expires in June. So on January 31st, the town submitted an application to MDE requesting emerging contaminants funding for recommended water system improvements. The ranking of the projects for funding should be released this May, along with potential funding dollar amounts for each project. Currently, we are waiting on the preliminary engineering reports from GMB for these improvements. Mid-Atlantic Utilities will begin test pitting along South Carroll Street and Shiloh Avenue in preparation to begin working on the completion of the pipe removal and replacement project in that area. The welcome signs, north and south, the stone and brick base have been constructed. The welcome to Hampstead signs are completed and should be attached this week. And then they should be done. It's been windy. They haven't been able to attach them.
As you can tell, we've had a few conversations about the timing of our signs.
It's been windy.
Okay, oversights. Diane, we'll start with you as usual.
Wayne, thanks for delivering my report last month. The Hampstead Farmers Market Advisory Team met on February 6th. Market Manager Keith Johnson provided an update of the vendors who have renewed for the upcoming season so far. A couple of vendors notified Keith that they needed to scale back their operations and have decided not to renew for 2023. We certainly wish them well and would welcome them back if they decide to return in the future. So we have a few vendor spots to fill, and if you're interested in becoming a vendor, please message the Facebook page or use the Contact Us link on our website, hampsteadfarmersmarket.com. All of our breakfast vendor spots are filled for the season, and we still have 4 slots open for musicians. So if you or someone else you know that you would be interested in providing music at the market, we'd love to hear from you. That's all I have.
Who's not coming back?
Well, I'm not sure if they want to make a public announcement yet. I'd leave that up to the vendors to do so.
All right, I'll talk to you afterward.
Okay.
Wayne?
Hampstead train station, we're closing in on our last 2 bands for Music in the Park. As soon as we get them booked, we'll be putting that out on the website. We do have Bootleg coming back July 22nd, so they're going to play in July instead of August. Tree Commission, we decided with all the illnesses running around in January not to try to meet, so we're going to meet in March and plan our fall planning, which should be at Westwood Park. So that's all I have.
Very good. Deb?
Okay, the Hampstead Planning and Zoning Commission met on Wednesday, January 25th, and they reviewed the Hampstead information for the 2022 Carroll County Department of Planning Annual Report. This includes annexations, zoning amendments, and text amendments. The Chapter 7 draft of the 2022 Hampstead Comprehensive Plan was introduced, and the goals are to include, but are not limited to, the insurance that they are all ADA compliant, safe, and we have enough adequate water supply. That's it.
Here's hoping that continues. All right, Dave.
Okay, on the Richards Family Garden Cemetery, the Carroll Community College has decided that they're going to help me for a full day with what I need done up there, which they're going to actually send the men's lacrosse team and probably the soccer team up, so I'm going to have quite a few people. So I'm going to have all projects hopefully completed in March and April. We're planning on putting in a new herb garden to the back part of it, and the rose garden that I've been talking about is actually completed now, so now I have approximately 50 rose plants up there, so it's grown immensely. So, but I'm really excited about Carroll, so that's going to be helpful.
All right, finally, Ben.
Okay, so for January's water usage, it was 323,000 gallons per day, an average use of that. And so far this month, we're at 329,000 gallons per day as an average. Rainfall last month was 2.39 inches, and so far for February, it's 0.77 inches.
329,000 gallons a day is one of the lower readings we've had in a while. So the pipe replacement's paying off. Not going into the ground. All right, where are we up to? Chief, you're up.
Evening, everyone. During the month of January, with reference to traffic safety, we investigated 4 reportable accidents, 6 minor property damage only crashes, and 5 crashes took place at the 42 traffic circle. Speed signs were deployed at 8 different locations for a total of 59 days of display, and most of that focus remains in the school areas. Traffic enforcement included 24 selective enforcements over a period of a little over 17 hours. No citations and 37 warnings were issued. There was also 1 DUI arrest during that activity. Overall, traffic enforcement included 75 citations, 218 warnings. Patrol checks included 539 property checks of both businesses and schools. With reference to serious crime, 4 DUIs, 2 assaults of the second degree, 2 open warrants were investigated, 2 burglaries, as well as 1 theft, which essentially was a shoplifting. With reference to arrests, 4 adults were taken into custody for DUI, 6 adults for various traffic offenses, 1 adult for an assault, 1 adult for a violation of a protective order, 2 adults for outstanding warrants, 1 adult for shoplifting, 2 juveniles for a burglary, and 1 juvenile for a second-degree assault. Training, we conducted 20 hours of training, including, actually Judy and myself, attended an off-duty marijuana use by police officers with reference to legal liabilities, that with anticipation of the rules changing here in Maryland later this year. Basic firearm safety course is just a reminder to our guys, and Ms. Geiger attended a grant writing course. With reference to community events, we conducted 2 tours of the station for elementary students. I attended the swearing-in ceremony actually along with Stacy Haven Shoemaker as a state's attorney, and we attended the Robertsfield HOA meeting as well. And that's everything. That's my report.
Questions for the chief? Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Excuse me, mayor's report. I'm doing If I Were a Mayor again this year. I go see the 4th graders. I've already been to see Spring Garden, Hampstead Elementary. This year I'm adding Gerstel Academy to the list. The theme is preserving the past to power the future. So it's always interesting to go talk to the 4th graders with the slide deck that we have. Judy and I updated it this year. Always, we anticipate some of the questions. So it was always, what's your house look like? Trying to figure out why they're asking that. And it's because the president has the White House and the governor has the governor's house. So I show them my house. And then and we learn about full-time jobs and part-time jobs. And then the latest question, of course, is what's your car look like? So I don't know that I'll put up a slide for that yet. But they're always interesting. You never know what they're going to ask. This year, I guess the most intriguing question is, who's the smartest person I know? So, yes, and I noticed it was at Hampstead Elementary, and the teachers were like, okay, that's different. And everybody popped up, and I just basically said, Joyce, my wife. So, because yes, it's exactly what the teachers said. And, it's, being Valentine's Day, there's a shout out. And I said, because she's the one who got me into this job in the first place. So it went pretty well. I look forward to seeing how it goes next week with the Gerstel crew, and it's something that a lot of the mayors are doing with all the elementary schools, and they have to write an essay with that theme, and then they get judged, and the winners from each district, so Carroll County is one of the districts, go down to Annapolis, and then there's an overall winner, and usually lieutenant governor or somebody's there to present them with a citation and a few gifts. So we'll see how the kids in Hampstead do. But it's always fun. Under the not-so-fun list, MML Legislative Committee's been meeting every week. I'm on that committee. I think Dave's on one for the Convention Planning Committee. That's more fun. But, we're looking at all the different bills that are being introduced by the various assembly people in the legislature. And there's quite a few of them that impact municipal government, environmental bills, land use bills, licensing bills, you name it. So the legislative committee meets once a week. We have another meeting tomorrow morning. thankfully by Zoom. And we'll go through the list of, and how the impact and vote whether to support, oppose, or support amendment or oppose with amendment. So, we'll see how how these meetings continue to play out. But with the constitutional officers all new, there's been no let up in the number of bills that are being sponsored by the legislature. So that's always something to keep an eye on. And then we're having the mayor's conference later this week, Thursday afternoon into Friday. I'll be down there for that. We'll actually go over to the governor's mansion and meet with the new governor. So that's always good event, a little bit of one-on-one time. And I'll see if I can't get some money for the fire department out of that while we're there. So that's what's up on the mayoral front. New business. So, as Tammy pointed out, we have an election coming up on May 9th. And so we have to appoint our Board of Supervisors of Elections. We have 2 returning members, Lauree Kunz and Christine Konior. And thank you for stepping back up again. One of the ladies, Mrs. Malinowski, I guess, decided to retire. She had done it for several years. But then Marlene Duff has agreed to step up. And they will each serve for a term of 2 years. And Marlene, of course, everybody knows because she was on the council here. And so they sit here for the entire day, greeting everybody who wants to vote. We feed them well, and it's a very full day, but it's a very important position for them to occupy. So, if there's a motion to appoint all 3 ladies, I'll take it.
I make a motion to reappoint the 2, and it's my honor to appoint Marlene Duff to the Board of Supervisors of Elections.
Second.
Any discussion? I hope not. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, ladies.
I was hoping you'd do it as 2.
Chris, I was going to say something, but it's okay. You don't want her to do it, Lou? Marlene, this is yours. Christine, Laura. Yeah. Guys got your old hands at this, right?
Old hands.
I state your name.
That's not.
I, Lauree Kunz. I, Christine Konior. I, Marlene Duff.
Do swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Do swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland,
And that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of
the
Maryland,
town of Hampstead,
the town of Hampstead,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof.
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
And that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office as a member of the Board of Supervisors of Elections
execute the office as a member of the Board of Supervisors of Elections,
according to the laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Congratulations. Welcome back to board. They're for you, and we've already done the paperwork ahead of time. Getting half efficient at this. So I guess you got a little bit of work to do before Election Day, right? Because you got to certify the slate and all that kind of stuff. All right, so we'll see if there's any changes come May 10th. So that's it for new business, unless anybody else has something.
I was going to make a suggestion that Mr. Unglesby might look into see if he get Larry Hentz to come out and give a talk on PFAS at the convention, or at the conference.
That'd probably be a really good idea.
A classroom?
Yeah.
All right, you don't have all those time slots knocked down yet?
We'll do something.
All right,
I like that.
very good.
It's,
Can we get credit if we've already heard it here?
You really?
I'm sure you can. Yeah, you sat through it twice, now you'll sit through it 3 times. So yeah, it's one of the slides I put up for the kids, is I show an Olympic-sized pool and a drop of water next to it. And that, this is what we have to regulate to and what we have to make sure the water is clean to. And they just, a couple of them said, I think that's ridiculous and that's amazing or unbelievable, words to those effects.
Now they don't want to go swimming anymore.
No, they didn't have, they were astounded by it. So, anyway, so, little learning on the side as well. Ordinances and resolutions, introduction of ordinance 547, uses and conditions in the BL Business Local District and the BG Business General Districts, basically updating the code for some new uses that are being considered. and restricting some and allowing others, and one of which we wanted to restrict was cannabis and tobacco shops and vape shops, since it seems like there are many, many phone calls about them, and we want to get ahead of it.
Motion for introduction of ordinance 547.
Second.
Any discussion on the introduction? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we'll schedule this for a public hearing for the next council meeting. I don't anticipate a big crowd. So that ordinance is introduced. Any public comments? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Duff.
Well, I just wanted to encourage any of the council members who have the time and the ability, if they still do the reading of the essays in Annapolis of the fourth graders, you really should take the time to spend a couple hours down there. It's very enlightening, what fourth graders will write and what their opinions are. And some were very sad and some were very encouraging. But if you have the time, I would suggest, a couple hours, and it would be a lot of fun. And in fact, I think
Great
one
idea.
year, I think I even read the young man who won from Hampstead. And he was in a pile that I had read, and it was really very interesting. So if you get a chance, do it.
Thanks. Anything else? Jim?
I just wanted to ask about what happened at Walmart.
The bomb square.
Just somebody called in.
Yep, nothing. There was also one in Denton, same day. So I guess somebody randomly was going through and we got picked.
And we all have a concern these days about school shootings. And I'd just like to get a sense of how well prepared we are, not just here, but in adjacent counties, and police departments, and how they would work together, what kind of plan they have, if they're prepared for something that never happens here, but it happened in Uvalde, Texas, and they weren't prepared, so.
Dave, would you like to handle this question?
I think we prepare as best we can. I can tell you that, just based on my own personal experience, this is almost 40 years for me. I lived through one in a different agency. And regardless of how much you prepare, every incident is unique, and there really isn't for lack of a better description, a textbook that covers all the aspects of that. So a couple of things that we do here specifically in Hampstead, I can speak for the entire county, but I can tell you what we do here. This police department, we have 3 schools that we're responsible for. Every day at arrival and at dismissal, we have police officers there. And we monitor, every exit. We interact with the kids, we interact with the parents. One of the things that we do on a routine basis is we sit down and we discuss what has happened in the last 24 hours in Hampstead. Because a lot of these things that take place, there are things that lead up to that should be red flags. So any concerns we have, because it's not just somebody that has a mental health issue, sometimes it's people that have problems with other adults that work in the school. We have a lot of issues relative to custody, essentially custody battles, which sometimes will hash out in the school grounds. So we go out of our way to try to predict or prevent anything that we can. The schools themselves, I will say, for the 3 schools that we work with here, we do a phenomenal job in monitoring the situation, paying attention to their environment. One of the simplest things that a school can do, and Uvalde is a great example to bring up in this, where people don't pay attention. There was a door unlocked down there. Had that door been locked, there's a good possibility that all of the crimes that took place would never have happened. One thing I can say for all the schools here, they are fanatical about locking those doors. When that school bell rings in the morning, the doors lock, and if you're not in there, you have to be buzzed in after they view you on a TV camera. The schools also have various drills without going into too many specifics, because I think some of it is inside baseball that's not necessarily best publicized. But they do routinely assess their ability to protect their kids in the schools. We participate in monitoring the suggestions as much as possible. The most recent one we did over at Hampstead Elementary actually last Thursday, Friday, I don't remember which day it was. But they're very good at what they do. So to answer your question, you do the best you can. You try to pay attention, try to learn from mistakes, horrible mistakes that were made in other places. At the end of the day, I think we are, as prepared as possible. But one of the many things that do cause me to lose some sleep different times, and I do worry about it. We miss something. There's something we're not aware of. So to answer your question, we do the best we can, prepare as best we can. We send our people to train. Some of the things you'll hear in my reports different times. As many training opportunities as we can to prepare our people as much as possible, and include that in. Tanya mentioned the budget cycle coming up. One of the things that we try to do is we anticipate what our needs are going to be from an equipment standpoint. So is there more training we need? Is there more equipment we need? What do we need to put into next year's budget to make sure that we're prepared for something that we all hope that we'll never ever have to do? So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, it did. Is it likely that Hampstead would be called if there was something happening in Westminster or some other area of Carroll County or even Baltimore County for that matter?
Realistically, something like that, yes. We would provide whatever resources they can take care of it. When you have something like that, you're going to have police officers coming from everywhere. There's so many different moving parts, and again, a lot of it depends on where it's at, where geographically it's okay. Is it an elementary school as opposed to a high school? What time of day is it? What's the weather like? There's so many different factors that go in there. But we are, for the majority of the police departments are on shared radio frequency. So you hear things, you're able to look at what's going on. State police have a different system, but they routinely pop on our system and help us in many ways. State police have been very good to us here in Hampstead. I think as much as possible from a county perspective, I think we're prepared as we can be, if there is such a thing as being.
So if there was an incident, there would not be a communication problem from one department to another department to state to.
We would be, yes, to answer your question, we would be aware of it. I can tell you in real life what happens is communication breaks down because there's just not enough communication apparatus. Everything gets, cell phones get bogged down, and radio traffic gets bogged down because so many people are trying to communicate. But to answer your question, the information, it's, whenever anything big happens, resources are shared as much as possible.
Yeah, I'll give Dave and his team credit. They're there every day at the schools, and it was Thursday because I was at Hampstead Elementary that they had that drill.
And if you do want some feedback, there were a couple of kids that actually thought you were a half decent guy.
Just never know. So, that it's one of those things we hope never happens, but we're prepared for try to prepare as best we can for everything.
Just one more. Is there any indication that the children here are in any way particularly worried?
I don't get that sense.
That's a hard thing to, respond to. I don't know. I can tell you that the elementary school kids, we interact with them on a regular basis. Many of them to the point where, I know on a first name basis. And generally the kids look happy when they go into school. Now, the middle school kids, that's a different animal. Generally, they don't necessarily look as happy. They're certainly not as friendly as the elementary school kids. But today was Valentine's Day. I got hugs from kids. I have a pocket full of Valentines. Everybody seems to be relatively happy. I will tell you that just as sort of an outside observer, you guys are fortunate in the teaching staff that you have. I mean, they are really good with those kids. They do a great job, and it's I think they're a great environment. So, as an outside observer for what it's worth, I think the kids are generally happy. Just my opinion.
Good questions. So, anybody else? We good? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We can stay in here all night. Okay, second. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you for those who've joined us on TV as well.